Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to get forensic. We're looking at efficiency.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
And we're not talking about those, super expensive high-tech aquarium setups you see all over social media.
No, no, forget the museum pieces. We're moving into the pragmatic world.
Exactly.
Oh.
The world of a professional fish store, where every single component in a cichlid tank has to pull its weight, justify its cost, and just work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because when your goal isn't just aesthetics, when it's maximum health with minimum maintenance, that's when you really learn what matters in water chemistry.
Our sources today are basically a set of observations from someone who really broke down these professional setups, giving us a huge shortcut. So our mission is to decode how four really simple components, we're talking red lava rock, dried coral, a basic sponge filter, and an interesting leaf.
A very unexpected leaf.
Right. How they're all working together to create this perfect chemical balance for cichlids.
And if you can understand this approach, you really get a leg up. You start to see what the pros actually prioritize, You stop looking at flashy gear and you start thinking purely about function.
Okay, so let's start at the bottom. Literally, the foundation.
The substrate.
The source material makes it clear that this isn't just a random choice of gravel. It's a deliberate partnership between red lava rock and dried coral.
It absolutely is. It's a functional pairing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lava rock first.
All right.
Its inclusion is completely strategic. Its primary job, its number one function, is biological filtration. It's just superior at it.
And that's because of its porosity, right? We're talking about surface area.
Exactly. It's not a smooth pebble. Think of it like a giant natural sponge. It provides this incredible amount of real estate for all the beneficial nitrifying bacteria to colonize.
Like a huge apartment building for microbes.
That's a perfect analogy. And in a retail tank, where you have a high density of fish, you need that biological engine running at full capacity instantly. It has to process all that fish waste, the ammonia, the nitrite, and turn it into nitrate efficiently.
So while it does look cool, that rugged volcanic aesthetic, its real job is infrastructure.
Precisely. The lava rock is your biological heavy lifter, but then right next to it you have the dried coral. And that's there for a whole different reason.
It's tackling the chemistry.
It is. Specifically the fact that cichlids need hard water.
Okay, so why not just, add liquid buffers, dose the tank with chemicals? Wouldn't that be faster?
It might be faster, but it's not more stable.
Yeah.
And stability is everything.
I see.
Chemical dosing requires constant monitoring, constant redosing. It's high maintenance. The coral, on the other hand, is a slow, passive chemical tool. It just sits there and does its job.
It's releasing minerals over time. What exactly is it targeting?
Two key things, general hardness, or GH, and carbonate hardness, KH.
Okay, break those down.
So many of the cichlids we're talking about, especially from the African rift lakes, Lake Malawi, Lake Tanganyika, they evolved in water that's basically liquid rock. It's full of minerals.
And GH is the measure of those minerals, like calcium and magnesium.
Yeah.
It affects how their cells manage water, right? Osmotic regulation.
That's GH, and then KH, the carbonate hardness. I like to call that the tank's buffer insurance.
Insurance.
It's what stops your pH from crashing. Without enough KH, all the organic acids from fish waste can cause the pH to plummet, and that's catastrophic.
So the coral, which is mostly calcium carbonate, just passively leaches into the water and keeps that KH and pH locked in at a high level.
Exactly. It's set and forget it chemistry. Perfect for a busy retail environment.
It is pretty amazing how much work those two types of rock are doing. But the source noted something else in there, something that feels a bit out of place in a hard water cichlid tank.
Yeah, yes. The odd one out.
The Indian Almond Leaf.
Yeah.
The IAL. I mean, you usually see those in softwater bedded tanks, don't you?
You do. And that's what makes this so interesting. It really shows how confident the store is in its foundation. They know that coral buffer is so strong that they can add something that normally lowers pH.
So why would they even risk it? What's the benefit?
It's a dual purpose. It's for health and it's for looks.
Okay, let's do the health part first. What's the leaf actually adding to the water?
As it breaks down, it releases tannins. Now, most people know tannins for the aesthetic part, that nice tea-colored stain in the water, the blackwater effect.
Which really makes the fish's colors pop.
It does. But the real value here, especially for a store, is that those tannins have mild antifungal and antibacterial properties.
Right, and these fish are under constant stress, being shipped, netted, moved around.
Exactly. And a stressed fish is a fish with a weak immune system. The IAL acts as a sort of gentle natural medicine in the water. It helps their slime coat, reduces stress, and can help prevent things like fin rot. It's a cheap, natural preventative.
But wait a second. If the leaf is releasing acids and the coral is releasing carbonates to buffer against acid, aren't they just fighting each other?
They are, in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a calculated battle. The store knows the coral is going to win. The KH buffer from the coral is so robust that it easily neutralizes the mild acidity from the tannins, so there's no dangerous pH drop.
So we get all the good stuff from the leaf, the color, the health benefits, without any of the risk.
Precisely. They've engineered a balance. It's a beautiful little system of compensation.
That is pragmatic optimization right there. Okay, so that brings us to the final piece of hardware, the filter itself.
The simple black sponge filter.
It's tucked away in the back. Now, standard thinking says a sponge filter does two things, right? Mechanical and biological filtration.
That's the textbook answer, yep. Mechanically, it's a sieve, trapping floating debris. Biologically, the sponge itself provides more surface area for bacteria.
But when this is the crucial part of the audit, we just established that the lava rock is already this massive biological filter.
A far superior biological filter.
So what is the real job of this sponge filter? Is the biological part just redundant?
It is. This is where you have to identify the primary retail priority. The biological function of that sponge is, it's nice to have, but it's basically redundant. The lava rock is already doing that job 2047.
So if it's not there for biology, its main value has to be mechanical.
100%. Its main purpose is presentation. It's there for rapid mechanical removal of debris to keep the water crystal clear.
Okay. And what debris are we talking about?
Well, think about this setup. You get fine dust and silt coming off the lava rock sometimes. You have fish waste. And critically, you have all that decomposing organic matter from the Indian almond leaf.
Oh, right. The leaf is great for health, but as it breaks down, it must shed little particles into the water.
Exactly. And floating particles? Cloudy water. That's the kiss of death for a retail display. Customers see murky water and they think the tank is dirty or the fish are unhealthy, even if the water chemistry is perfect.
So the sponge filter is just there to guarantee clarity.
It's the clarity control unit. It grabs those floating bits and keeps the water looking polished and clean for customers.
It's like the lava rock is the deep foundational infrastructure, and the sponge filter is just the window washer they bring in to make sure the view is perfect.
That is the perfect way to think about it. The biological stability is handled by the substrate. The commercial, need-clear, sparkling water that helps sell fish is handled by the cheap, simple sponge filter.
So that brings it all together. Lava rock for bioload, coral for the specific cichlid chemistry, the GH and KH, the leaf for supplemental health and aesthetics.
And the sponge filter to clean up the cosmetic mess made by the other components, especially the leaf.
It's a complete self-regulating ecosystem built on really intentional and cheap choices.
It is. And the efficiency comes from using passive systems, like the coral and the rock, instead of relying on constant human intervention or expensive electronics.
So to wrap this up, what's the big takeaway for us when we look at our own systems? Not just aquariums, but any complex system.
I think it means we have to audit our systems for intentional redundancy. The expert here intentionally accepted biological redundancy. You got two biofilters, the rock and the sponge.
But not for safety, not as a backup.
Right. They didn't accept that overlap for safety. They accepted it because they needed the mechanical function of the sponge for a totally different but equally crucial purpose.
They prioritized guaranteed clarity of business outcome over streamlining away a little bit of functional overlap.
Absolutely. They said, I will accept having two things do the same biological job if it means I can guarantee this one simple outcome: clear water. So the question you should ask about your own systems is, what are you really optimizing for? Are you maybe duplicating a function on purpose just to lock in a different but really important result?
That's the real thought to leave everyone with. It's about seeing the difference between redundancy for safety's sake and a calculated overlap that ensures a simple high-priority outcome is always met, like sales through clear water. What are you duplicating, and is it for the right reason?
Audit the functions, not just the components.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.